Today I'm in downtown Asheville, and in this video I am covering 4 main parts where Asheville's wealthiest prefer to live. And the reason I am in downtown is because downtown is one of those areas, and you probably heard about other areas and parts of Asheville and neighborhoods of Asheville, but in this video I'm going to dive into more of numbers, specifics, what it's like to live there, the cost, HOA fees, and all those good things. So stay tuned. So when it comes to living in downtown Asheville, you're not talking about single-family homes. For the most part, it's going to be condos in newer or older buildings or lofts in one of those historic buildings all over downtown Asheville. I mean, there are some single-family homes in downtown, but those are not, for the most part, are not going to be your upscale luxury homes that I'm talking about in this video. So when it comes to prices, you can actually find a condo for $500,000–$600,000 in one of the more modest buildings here in downtown Asheville. Or you can go, the sky's the limit. One of the highest price ranges that I've seen here in downtown Asheville was in $2 million plus price range. And it was basically a loft on top of the building, of a historic building that has been renovated and had materials brought from Italy. So it was a lot bigger space that offered completely different experience. So prices here, if you look at the median sales price, are not that high, but keep in mind, you're not getting much for your money. Your money is not gonna go as far here in downtown Asheville. You're definitely not getting any yard, but look, this is your yard. Downtown Asheville is your backyard. This is the beauty, and this is the reason why a lot of people, or some people, choose to be here right in the center of Asheville. And remember, downtown Asheville is very, very walkable. You can probably walk all around it in about an hour if you're not stopping. It's going to be an hour, maybe less. If you're stopping and looking at shops and stores, maybe a couple hours. So this is the beauty of living in downtown Asheville, because this is one of the only or a few areas in Asheville that is truly walkable. And not just walkable where you walk around, the city, you have sidewalks. You can actually walk to all the things that downtown has to offer. All the best restaurants in Asheville are mainly in downtown Asheville. All the great stores, different galleries, very expensive galleries. There's a grocery store right down the street that is super good. It is a local grocery store, French Broad Food Co-op. The courthouse, police station, fire station, all kinds of stuff are located right here in downtown Asheville. You wouldn't even need to leave or use your car if you live in downtown Asheville, outside of the fact that maybe you need to go to a hospital, urgent care, then you would need to drive. But Mission Hospital is just down the street. There are some other urgent cares on the other side of the downtown, in North Asheville, West Asheville. So everything is super close to the center of Asheville. One of the best examples of living in downtown Asheville is actually one of my most favorite buildings right here in downtown Asheville. It's right behind me. Heiress Residences of Asheville is located in the former BB&T building. If you've been here long enough, or if you visited maybe Asheville years ago, there used to be a bank here. And since then, it's been completely renovated. Now it consists of a hotel at the lower third of the building. Then there are some offices. And from then on, all the way to the top, you have your luxury condos. So the next one, we're gonna go to Lakeview Park, which has a lake in the middle of it. Beaver Lake is privately owned and maintained by residents of Lakeview Park. So let's go check it out. Lakeview Park neighborhood in North Asheville that has Beaver Lake that is right in the middle of it is definitely one of the most affluent neighborhoods in the whole Asheville and in North Asheville in particular. Lakeview Park HOA fee of about $400 a month cover the maintenance of this lake. And it sure is nice to be able to walk all around the lake. People walk, jog, walk their dogs, they go fishing, boating on the lake, which, by the way, you would need to have permits for all those things, even to walk your dog. It is privately owned and maintained, but people who do not live in Lakeview Park also can walk around the lake. They are urged to get permits for their activities. But outside of that, that's it. HOA fees don't cover anything else. There are no other amenities, so to speak. It is not a gated community. They don't have access to the clubhouse or the gym, none of that. So what else beside this lake and the trail that attracts people to Lakeview Park, you ask? Well, it is location. North Asheville in general is a very established part of town. Lots of historic homes, lots of more than some other parts of Asheville, flat land where houses are not on top of or on the side of the mountain. I mean, some houses do have views because they are a little bit higher, but for the most part, it's a pretty level, Asheville level part of town. Asheville Country Club is right next door. If you're a big golfer lover, you would love that. Bird Sanctuary is on the other side of the lake, and if you like to be in the nature, go for a quick walk in the woods, you can go to Bird Sanctuary. It's right next door. And a sheer volume of amenities that are right here in North Asheville. Downtown Asheville is about 5 minutes away from Lakeview Park, so between downtown Asheville and Lakeview Park, you have all kinds of amenities. They have, I want to say, 4 or 5 different grocery stores just on Merriman Avenue as you leave and go towards downtown or highway. All kinds of stores, all kinds of restaurants. And so for the most part, like I said, Lakeview Park, as well as the whole North Asheville, is a very established part of town, very established neighborhood. So there's a lot of older homes, a lot of historic homes, as well as smaller ranch-style homes, modern homes that were built in recent years. You can also see in Lakeview Park. So it has a good variety of different styles of homes, different sizes, and price ranges. In fact, median sales price in Lakeview Park just this past year was $900,000. So it sounds like a little more affordable, but again, it is because there's a lot of houses that are $1 million plus houses, and there's a number of houses that are smaller houses, ranch-style homes, older homes that might have had or might have needed a lot of renovations and a lot of updates. In general, this is an area that most people cannot afford. If you heard anything about Grove Park Inn, which is where Grove Park neighborhood is located or right around it, you would know that Grove Park area is anything but cheap, affordable. It's more of an upscale, affluent neighborhood, and people, who live there want to be around people of similar income, similar interests, and similar lifestyles. Grove Park is another North Asheville neighborhood that is located just a few blocks on the other side of North Asheville. No lake, but it does have Grove Park Inn at the very end of the road. Grove Park Inn has been one of the biggest tourist attractions and one of the biggest landmarks in Asheville. And Grove Park as a neighborhood consists of mostly older historic homes. Some of them are very big, very grand, more expensive, talking about millions of dollars. Some of them are less expensive, more of, ranch-style homes, smaller houses. Median sales price in Grove Park is $1.2 million. There's no HOA in Grove Park, but Grove Park, just like pretty much the whole North Asheville, is located in city limits, so you will pay county taxes and city taxes. And the whole neighborhood is pretty much like a big maze of streets and lanes and little cul-de-sacs that are lined, for the most part, with sidewalks where residents can walk and go for a walk with a dog, jog. We just saw a couple of people jog up the hill. It's like, good for them. And it's a very convenient location. Downtown is about 5 minutes from here. If you go all the way up to Grove Park Inn, you will actually see downtown Asheville from some of the rooms, as well as the Sunset Terrace, where you can have lunch, dinner, breakfast, anything like that. Very nice place to go for dinner. They have several restaurants up at the top. And so it's a great destination, not just for tourists, but for locals. Sometimes I go and have lunch there with clients or friends. Also, if you are a golf lover, golf course is right next door, adjacent to Grove Park, at Grove Park Inn. And it's one of the options for all your golf lovers. Chop Shop Butcher Shop is also in that same vicinity, same location, with a bunch of those restaurants. It is a great local store for all of your local meats. It smells heavenly in there as soon as you walk in, so I highly recommend checking it out, even if you don't live here. Some locals describe some of the neighborhoods in North Asheville and refer to Grove Park area as old money and places like Munford as new money. So keep that in mind. It does feel like it's your parents who live here, not you. You would probably go and live in Munford, and your parents would live in more upscale, more affluent, luxurious neighborhoods such as Grove Park. It is very nice here. I mean, it is a super nice area, but I imagine that leaving your kids' bikes on the front lawn will be frowned upon. So this is the general vibe of these two North Asheville locations. I know North Asheville is a super broad area. There's a ton of neighborhoods there within North Asheville, and it can be a little bit confusing. If you need help figuring out what area, what neighborhood is going to be a great fit for you and your family, reach out to me and my team. Our contact information is down in the description. Check out my reviews on Google and more on my website. From people like you who saw me on this channel, who reached out to me, who relocated to Asheville and live here happily ever after. Anything in Asheville with the name of Biltmore in nice subdivisions that I actually covered in one of my previous videos. I'm gonna put a link up here and also in the description. Anything with the word of Biltmore is where more upscale luxury homes are located and where most wealthy people prefer to live here in the area. More specifically, Biltmore Forest, and this is exactly where I am right now. Biltmore Forest is actually a town. It is located in South Asheville, just south of downtown, about 10 minutes, well, depending on where you are in Biltmore Forest, because it occupies a huge territory that was subdivided from the original Biltmore property and then sold as separate residential lots. Those lots originally were 3 to 5 acres, so every property here sits on a pretty big lot, and it does feel like you are in a forest, hence the name. Biltmore Forest also has Biltmore Forest Country Club that is located right in the middle, that sits on about 130, I think, or 140 acres of land. And it includes golf courses, country club facility with all kinds of stuff there, restaurants and different amenities for guests. So the great thing about Biltmore Forest is that it actually does not have HOA fees. There are no HOA fees, but on top of Buncombe County taxes, they do have their own taxes. And that goes to cover things like police and utilities. They are pretty much a full-blown independent little town right in the middle of Asheville. Median sales price in Biltmore Forest is $1.8 million, but I feel like that number was skewed by the fact that there's a lot of very expensive homes here. In fact, the most expensive sale that was ever recorded in Buncombe County and actually in other, I think there are like 30 counties in our Canopy MLS, was recorded right here in Biltmore Forest. $9.6 million sale happened right here 2-3 years ago. Outside of that, there's a lot of houses that are smaller, ranch style homes, one-story houses, brick houses that are not as big, not as grand, not as, you know, those castles that you see here in Biltmore Forest. So that number is skewed. You can get a house for under $1 million here easily. It's not gonna be the most updated house or the newest house, but it is one way to get into Biltmore Forest if you really want to be here. So there's actually a lot of houses like this, more ranch style homes, like I said, more manageable homes, and they tend to skew the median sales price in this neighborhood, in this town, towards a lower range. But a lot of these houses are $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 million houses easily. So there's, like I said, there's a variety of houses here in Biltmore Forest. Something like this that is probably at least 10,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet houses. That's not uncommon. And then you see some other more, you know, manageable houses that will cost a lot less. I mean, I cannot even imagine how much this house would cost if they were to put it on the market. It was just built, I want to say, in the past 2 years. It looks gigantic. I mean, just look at this. It's probably at least 10,000-15,000 square feet house. So why else do all these people are so attracted to Biltmore Forest outside the fact that houses sit on big lots, it looks like a forest, looks like you live in the woods, although you are in South Asheville, and if you know, South Asheville can be super busy, tends to be busy. Well, it's the fact that it is in South Asheville and you are minutes away from all kinds of amenities. South Asheville is probably the only part of town that has everything. When I talk about other parts of town, they have everything too, or a lot of things. South Asheville beats them all, which is why it is also more congested and there's more people here. But all the great schools, and I'm not just talking about public schools, several private schools are right here in South Asheville, minutes from Biltmore Forest. In fact, the entrance to one of the private schools, one of the entrances to the school is through Biltmore Forest. Charter schools, public schools, private schools are all here. Hospital is just a few minutes away. There's another hospital just down the road in Fletcher. So there's a variety of things to have quick access to if you live in Biltmore Forest, and that is a great thing about it. You feel like you are, you know, in the middle of town, but you are sitting on these bigger lots in bigger houses, and that is rare to be so more or less centrally located right here in Asheville. And there's a number of great gated communities right here in the area, but nothing can beat the cliffs at Walnut Cove. The cliffs at Walnut Cove is a gated community that is located south of Asheville. It is actually technically located in Arden, but still within Buncombe County. Short distance to Asheville Airport, about 20 to 30 minutes to downtown Asheville. The cliffs at Walnut Cove is one of a kind gated communities here, and that is why I wanted to include it. It is over the top when it comes to amenities, when it comes to everything that it has to offer. Now, it is up to you whether or not you're gonna take advantage of everything this community has to offer or not. HOA fees of under $3,000 a year here at the Cliffs at Walnut Cove cover things like private road maintenance, gate and security, street lights, trails, and that's it. If you decide that you want to have access to all other amenities that this community has to offer, you have two options. There are two tiers of club membership, the social membership and the golf membership. And of course, the golf membership is going to be the most expensive. It is over $90,000 in just initial fee. So when you buy a house here at the Cliffs, $90,000 goes towards that membership, and then there's an annual fee. Social membership is a lot less expensive, and it gives you less access. Of course, you're not going to have access to the golf course, or golf courses rather, but it still gives you plenty of other options in this community. The Cliffs at Walnut Cove offer single-family residences as well as condos, as well as vacant lots. So you do not have to buy a pre-owned home or resale. You can actually buy a vacant lot and build your own house of your dreams. And lot sizes vary at the Cliffs. One of the biggest ones is up to 10 acres, and the ones that have amazing views cost a lot. I'm talking about $1.5, $1.6 million just for a vacant lot. It is on the very top of the mountain, and you have amazing views from both sides of the lot. You can't beat that. Some of the most expensive homes are also sold at the Cliffs at Walnut Cove right now. I think the most expensive one is $14 million. Very modern, very sleek looking house with infinity pool and sits on top of the ridge, has amazing views. Outside the fact that the Cliffs at Walnut Cove offers all these amazing amenities, as well as all the different settings for where you can live. You can live by the golf course, kind of in the valley, where you are not on the side of the mountain and just looking over the mountains or rolling hills or the golf course, or you can live on the side of the mountain or at the top of the mountain and have these amazing views. The Cliffs at Walnut Cove are also located in Arden, where you are going to be super close to all kinds of amenities that South Asheville has to offer. Asheville Airport is just a few miles down the road. In fact, you might hear some airplanes above your head if you live here. Not a whole lot, but places like Biltmore Park with all its amenities are just down the road across the river on the other side of the interstate. And there you have movie theater, more restaurants, coffee shops, bookstore, all kinds of stuff. Blue Ridge Parkway is right around the corner. Bend Creek is just down the road. I will say it is a little bit more tucked away, so considering South Asheville traffic, it might be, it might be a little more congested on this side of the town. So consider that when picking your location. If I were to pick a location out of everything that I mentioned in this video, I would probably have to go with Biltmore Forest, because it is centrally located. They have their own police. It feels super safe and secure. The houses are not super close to each other. Everything is wooded, everything is established. You don't see your neighbors, even though everyone is kind of close to each other. And there are no HOA fees, and that is huge, I think. I know it can be confusing, all these areas, parts of towns, neighborhoods, communities. If at any point you need help figuring out what's going to work best for you, reach out. My team and I will be happy to help. Our contact information is down in the description. Call me, email me, schedule private consultation via Zoom or phone call, and I will see you next time.